I've used some of those drivers off of there.
Okay. Under Safer Web, in the back part of it, when you go through the FMCSA registry to get the newer drivers, or that technique, okay. Yeah, they're newer drivers, so the only problem with that is you're going to have a hard time in some cases. They may be willing to sign up with you, but as far as booking loads, you may have a hard time in some cases booking the loads, because brokers and shippers, they tend not to give the newer MC authority based owner operators an opportunity more so than they would someone whose authority is like 6 months, maybe even a year or older, so when you're looking on the Safer Web, even though you come across a MC authority that's young, you might want to, before you decide to call, you might want to consider, okay, do I want to go through this, because I know that in some cases that I may not be able to book a load, but there are cases where you are able to book a load. Some brokers and shippers will say, yeah, we know that your MC is young, but we'll give you a shot if you can show us 3 loads that you've moved within the last month or 2 successfully. And the successful definition, of course, is the delivered on time, no damaged freight, and no claims filed against the carrier. So it's a 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other kind of thing. So when you decide, when you're dealing with carriers, owner operators whose MC authority is 6 months or less being active. So, but if you get carriers with MC authority is 6 months or greater, or a year or greater, then that just eliminated that worry, that less of a risk. Well, not a risk, but less of a chance of getting them, the book loads, getting them to say a carrier, a broker or a shipper saying, yeah, we'll go ahead and set up with you, send us your information. Now, as far as what you learned from either, I guess, me or RBBS, I'm Dispatcher 101. What other documents do you remember? What other documents that you always going to need? Is 3 of them, sometimes 4, when you always book a load with a broker or shipper. Do you remember that?
Of the documents that I need, as far as having the W-9, the NOA, and the other profile and stuff for the carrier?
Well, the dispatcher agreement and the profile are what the carrier initially fills out and sends back to you. Right. Those documents are not used to book a load, right?
Okay.
So the other documents that are needed are the documents that you'll need to get set up with a broker or shipper, because they are needed to verify some things before those carriers are approved for that load under that broker or shipper.
So they need the MC authority, the W-9, and the insurance?
Correct. And then that 4th one, if they have, there you go. Look. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and let you teach the class.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying in general. You know it. Now what did you get that from me? Did I tell you that, or did you get it from because you're on the RBBS platform?
No.
Oh, you're not part of the RBBS platform?
No.
Okay. Have you heard of the RBBS?
Yes, I have. I just thought the RBBS was a little bit too advanced for me. So that's why I opt to join this platform instead of theirs.
Okay, I'm happy that you feel that way.
So that was the decision, because I think Calvin's up to like less than 50 something.
What do you mean less than 50?
His lesson, like he's up to less than 20 something. He's at 20. I forget which lesson he's up on his videos that he posts.
Oh, okay. You saying as far as finding the videos and learning from the videos?
Right, he's up to 20-something. And yours started in November?
Yeah, that's because I started the platform back in November, and I started recording videos and placing them in the back office under the training video sections the moment I started training. And then a lot of the video and they're on YouTube, so they're kind of, some of those videos are kind of repetitive, or they cover the basic stuff. So I put enough videos on YouTube for a person to actually catch on to the basics, and then the rest of the videos, the training videos, are probably going to be just in the back office training video area for members only. You know, that way only people who are members of the platform can benefit going forward from, because I'm getting ready to, there are things that are going to be evolving and growing. I'm adding the higher end load boards and the advanced stuff, but still keeping it basic. You know, the whole point is to establish the foundation, of course.
Oh, that's why I chose to join this one, because it was starting at the beginning.
Yeah. Now you've already joined, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I have to stick it. Okay. And we got Michael here. Michael, are you the one I just was speaking to on the phone in Indianapolis, Naptown? Let me unmute, because it's just 3 of us right now, so I can unmute you guys.
Yes, sir. This is Michael from Indianapolis. How's everybody doing?
Okay, yeah, it's just 3 of us so far. We're just doing some little spot training, because I had a cancellation with my mom's appointment, so I figured I'll give an opportunity to do some Q&A. Now, what you were asking me a question, Michael. What were you asking me? Can you repeat that? This is recorded.
Well, you guys are kind of doing what I was interested in talking about today. Was, you know, with me working so much or whatever, how do you kind of slide in some of the business things that you're trying to do? And then you had you thought about allowing other people to book loads for you, or other people to find carriers for you? And that was kind of a new concept. I had seen you guys talking about it online, but it never dawned on me to let somebody else find a carrier for me.
Right. Now, with that being said, now there is a cost to that service, right?
Well, I'm sure about that.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about doing it, but I know that National Hip Bank has a call center. I don't know what their pricing point. The last number I knew that they had was kind of high. People were saying it was kind of high, and I was going to come in and offer my services to find carriers. I was going to either offer my services to find carriers for you guys. This is what I was going to do. I was going to say, okay, if anyone wants their dispatching company, if they want my company to find carriers for their company, if they have a logo, I need their logo, and then I was just going to use my dispatch agreements template and put their logo in and their information in where mine is at, and go out and reach out to the carriers, get them to fill out the dispatch agreement and profile, return it to me, because now you're my client, you know,
right.
Return it to me so it can funnel through me, and then also return to me the W-9, the MC authority, and the certificate of insurance, and then an NOA if they have a factoring company. Send all that. Once I get that back, that means you have a carrier. They filled it out for your company, even though I'm working it for you, and then I'll funnel it to you with my invoice of $175. Now, the other company, I think they charged, National Hip Bank, they charged, I think it was $500, which is, a lot of people didn't agree with that number. I don't know what they're charging now. Usually Wash comes on to this one and asks about, you know, the National Hip Bank call center and things like that. He has government contracts for loads. He just needs carriers for it. But anyway, that's one thing I was going to do for 175 or even 150. I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible and as affordable as possible, because especially for those coming in as beginners, you're not coming in, you know, and you may not be able to afford a large amount of money to find carriers. You're going to make that money up as the loads get booked, as you book loads. But
well, why wouldn't you just take a percentage of the loads booked?
Because that's that would be more money. I would rather charge you one flat rate to get you your carrier, and then you make all the money from that carrier you want. But if I get you one carrier, and then I take percentages from every load of that carrier that I got you booked, now you're paying me more money over time. You see?
Well, yeah, I was just talking from a business standpoint for you.
Well, yeah, from a business, I'm okay. Trust me, I'm okay from a business standpoint, but I'm trying to save. I mean, I can offer that. I can say, okay, if I find you the carrier, I won't charge you that upfront $175, or I may charge you a low cost. Like I may charge you $99 to find the carrier, return all those documents to me, and I funnel it to you for $99, and I want 2% of every load that's booked for that carrier.
Right.
Now that can be that's enticing. That's going to make National Hip Bank a little angry because I just killed his whole business. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. but
the thing about it is, what you're doing all the work. The person sitting at home, like for me, I'm at work and everything. You're like, hey, Michael, I got you a carrier, blah, 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 blah. You know, I come home from work, I book a load, and then I go back to work.
Right. Now, there's another dynamic in that as well. Say that $99 to initially bring the carrier and then 2% for every load you book. Say you say, okay, I want you to find me a carrier and I want you to manage the loads. In other words, book loads, because I don't have the time to do it yet until I get to a point where we're making enough money where I can leave my job and then come and start booking my own loads. I want you to manage the loads as well. So now, say the percentage is 10% that you're charging on your dispatch agreement.
Right.
So now instead of $99 and 2% for you to book the loads, I'm going to say $99 and 5%.
Sure, absolutely.
So you still get 5% for doing nothing. You just get 5%.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, somebody's giving me $75 or $100 or whatever, and I'm, you know.
And it's your carrier. So I mean, those are options. And then the other option. So those are two options. The third option would be, I got a lot of carriers I'm trying to reach back out to. So I was going to have people just find loads for my carriers.
Sure.
And then give me the information about, you know, what the load is, the details, the broker, and everything like that. And
right. You guys could split the 10%. You can split the
10%, or with my carriers, if you manage them, if you find the loads and I don't find the loads, then of the 10%, I keep 3% and you keep 7% because you're doing all the leg work.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's not even an issue of actually even finding carriers. So that dynamic has been removed because I already have carriers. I already have dispatch agreements. I already have W-9 certificate of insurances and NOAs and all the paperwork I already have in my filing system. All I need is other people to help me find those because I can't. It's hard to manage all those carriers, you know, with just a few people. So if I can use the Dispatcher 101 network that I created to help me find carriers, it helps you guys a twofold way. You learn how to find loads for carriers, booking loads with the brokers and shippers and everything, and you make money.
Right. And I mean, and the learning curve is what I'm trying to say. The learning curve is shorter.
Correct.
So yeah, I think that's a great opportunity. So for somebody like me, because I can't take a 90-day hiatus like you was able to. Unfortunately I'm too poor to do that.
Well, I mean, I was in that situation. I mean, I'm not a rich guy. I'm just saying,
No, but you had an opportunity though.
Right.
Yeah.
Robert said that C.H. Robinson, he said he just got off the phone with C.H. Robinson. Can you put their number down, Robert? C.H. Robinson, they will take new carriers. So as a dispatcher, get under an agreement and then hit up C.H. Robinson. And C.H. Robinson is a large brokerage firm. They have trucking side and a brokerage side. So I guess their brokerage side can use new carriers to sign them up to find loads, because they don't have a worry. See, those larger trucking companies don't have a worry with new carriers, because the only reason why some brokerages are apprehensive about taking on new carriers is because their customers are requiring them to have, if any approved carriers you bring under, they need to at least be a year. Their authority needs to be at least a year old. So the shippers are saying, okay, we want to make sure that these are good carriers.
Right. That makes sense.
It makes sense, but who's to say that a new carrier or a carrier with a new authority is not a good carrier? He could have been driving for 20 years, so he's a good carrier. Right. But he just got his authority recently. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly, right. He just became an owner-operator recently.
Right. He might have been an owner-operator he might have been an owner-operator. He may have been driving for years, but he just became his own authority like within the last 3 months. So but the shipper don't realize that. They just see the date on the service date on the MC authority, and they say, okay, yeah, well, he's kind of new. So he has to prove himself. So it's all about the circumstances in that situation. So
let me ask you this, because I heard you and the other gentleman talking about the authority. Because I was thinking about getting my authority, but people were saying that I didn't need to do that as a dispatcher and things like that. So talk to me about, because that's what I'm confused about and kind of overwhelmed with it. How initially to set up my business?
Okay, so you mean your business as a trucking company, or as a dispatcher, or as a
Well, to me, it seems easier to get into the business as a dispatcher.
Right. The entry
and start
point
making money as a dispatcher and all that, and then we can branch off into other things.
Right. So most people say dispatcher, and then maybe get a truck, and then form a little trucking company, add a few trucks, like 5 trucks, and then maybe even then up to a broker. Now you got all those trucks, and you get your broker authority. Now you automatically are an asset-based broker because you already got assets. You got trucks. Even if you
hold on, slow down for me. You're too smart. So hold on. I didn't think of.
Let me start over.
No, my question was, I didn't think that a broker could be a carrier.
A broker cannot be a carrier, but a broker can have assets in their company and be an asset-based brokerage. You can have a trucking side and you can have a brokerage side of your.
They just have like different. You'd have to call the business something different.
Okay, I can say Exodus Logistics. And then I have a trucking side and I have a brokerage side, but it's called logistics. Hold on one second. I got somebody calling me. See.
All right.
This is Charles. How can I help you? Hello? Okay. Hang up and block. That's what I usually do. So the easiest entry point that I'm noticing in this space of the transportation industry is a dispatcher. Now, get a lot of negative flack about dispatchers not having an authority or they're glorified brokers, but there's so many dispatchers out here, they've been doing it for years, so don't let that get to your head. As long as you got a contract, a dispatch agreement saying that between you and your owner operator, your carrier, the truck driver, saying that, okay, we agree that you can find me loads and I'll give you a percentage for that service, then everything is okay, right?
Right.
So that's a dispatch agreement. That's a contract. It makes it legal, right? Because you and it's not a unilateral thing. It's between 2 people. It's not one person. So one person says, I'm giving you the authority to do this for me for this fee for that service. I'm putting my signature to verify that. Okay, so that's officially what's called a contract, right?
Right.
So now back to your question, the easiest entry point is dispatching. So what you do is you get the carrier under an agreement and the profile. The purpose of the profile is basically the carrier telling you how and what they want, how they want to run, how much weight they're willing to pull, because they don't want to, even though they have a max weight, most carriers don't pull at their max weight. They pull at several thousand pounds less because they want to save on fuel costs and things like that. So they'll give you their max weight minus 3,000, 4,000 pounds. So say you got an equipment type, flatbed, drive-in, or reefer that pulls 48,000 pounds total. They say, well, I want to pull 40 or 46. I don't want to pull 48. Anyway, on the profile, they'll put that down. They'll say, okay, I want to go here. I have a TWIC card. I want this, $2 per mile or whatever cents per mile they want. So now, when you get back the dispatch agreement and the profile sheet, you go look for loads for that carrier based on that profile sheet. In other words, you cater your load search according to the profile sheet of that carrier. And then I also have, I don't know if you can see my screen or not, you may be on the phone.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. No, I'm not on my computer.
Okay, on my in Dispatcher 101, I also have under the load boards area or under the forms and documents area, I have what's called a load details cheat sheet, where when you go look on load boards and you find loads, most loads have load details that the broker is posting. But sometimes those loads details in the posting of those loads by the brokers, they don't have enough information or they're completely blank. So I got a load details cheat sheet that asks those questions, those basic questions. You basically put yourself in the position of your carrier. So what are the types of questions you need to ask to the broker so you can make an informed decision as to whether or not to take a load? So,
right.
And that's just extra stuff. Let's see. Ronnie asked, when you are calling brokers, you only use Truck Stop. Is that the best one to use, or are there others? No. She got out of the call. She left, but then she's going to probably come back. It's not the best one. It's just the one that I use. But there are the ones in the back office of Dispatcher 101, Ronnie, that I use. The other load boards back there. 123 load board. Ronnie's a good one. Next load. Matter of fact, let me go to load boards here. Yeah, I got loads. Matter of fact, I need to call Load Solutions because they're giving me a problem about the login for some reason. Load Solutions. Truckers have a load board side to it, not just a truck search feature. It's a free search. That's a good load board. Next Load is one of my favorites. 123 load board is a good one. If you're doing hot shots, I got a hot shot carrier. Free Freight Search is a free load board. It has a lot of freight. DAT Trucker's Edge. DAT is a very popular load board. You have DAT Power. DAT is an acronym. DAT, it stands for Dial a Truck. That's what that stands for, in case you did not know. Okay? So you hear people say DAT this and DAT, right? DAT is a popular load board. It's pretty big. They have a version called Power, DAT Power, which is more of a broker level load board. It gives you the ability to search trucks, search loads, post trucks, and post loads, and that's what brokers do. The DAT Trucker's Edge only gives you the ability to, it's a carrier level load board, so it only gives you the ability to do what carriers do. Carriers only post their trucks and search for loads. So that's all that load board does, and that's all it's needed for. That's why it's a carrier level load board. But the DAT Power has other features. I do have DAT Power. It's one of my friend's load boards, so I cannot put it up here. It's a broker level load board, so I do have it. I have a login for that. You can search trucks, search loads, post trucks, and post loads. That's DAT Power. The other load board, A1, is pretty good. That's a free one. So I got about 10 load boards back here. So you have options. Speaking of which, this reminds me, I gotta upgrade the subscription because this is the free version. But when you pay the $34.99 for this one, Direct Freight Services, you will be able to see when you go to a load and it just says click to get the contact information. It tells you to create an account and log in. Once I pay the $34.95, then you'll be able to see what broker or shipper posted that load and their contact information. Right now, you cannot. So I need to update that. And then ComFreight, that's a good one. And then Quick Transport Solutions, I'm actually going to take that out of here because that's a useless resource in my opinion. Calvin uses it to do truck searches. It's even a useless resource in that regard, because I've discovered, even searching for trucks with Quick Transport Solutions, when you either look the MC number up of the truck or you call them, they're either out of service or they're no longer available or the number's changed. So a lot of outdated nonsense with Quick Transport Solutions. I've noticed that there's more negative, or I'm getting less results. I'll say, I don't want to say negative. I want to use the bad choice of words. I'm getting less results with Quick Transport Solutions when I'm doing truck searches. I get better results with the truck search feature of Truckers Path than I do with Quick Transport Solutions. And the reason being is because Truckers Path, those carriers post their trucks as being available by the minute. As soon as you refresh the screen, a new truck is popping in there. So that tells me that they're logging in right now. You see, that a live human being is logging in. So that's why I use the truck search feature of Truckers Path as my #1 online source to use. There are other sources. You can Google truck companies in your local area, owner operators in your local area, look them up that way. You can get a carrier list. You can get a shipper's list. And those things cost, so you have to pay for those. Truckers Pass is free. So, but back to your point, Michael. So dispatching is the easiest entry point. So then once you're dispatching and you find, let's say you find, Ronnie said she thinks she has a carrier list. Okay, you have a carrier's list. So you have what, and then you have carrier lists based off of, Ronnie, you have them based off of different equipment types. Are you unmuted?
I'm sorry. I do have a trucker's list that I got from a class that I was taking online under Udemy.
Okay.
It gave me a shippers and carriers list from that.
Okay. So one's is a combination of the two, or are they separate? One's a carrier list and one's a shipper's list.
It's a combination of the two.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so we can definitely look at the carrier side and see if the list shows the MC number or the DOT number of that carrier. We can look them up in Safer and see if they are still active. So when you go to Safer, that's the beauty about the company snapshot Safer FMCSA website. When you look up you can search by DOT, which is the Department of Transportation, MC, which is the motor carrier number, and name, or the name of the company. So if you don't know the DOT or the MC, but you know the name of the company, you can search by name. So one of those three is going to get you something. Whichever one you use, when you get the results, it'll show whether that company is active, because the FMCSA website is always updated. It is a dynamic website, and it shows the company whether they're active or inactive. Now, it'll say inactive in big, bold, red letters, but it won't give you the reason why they are inactive. You will have to dig a little deeper in the website, in the Safer, like by going to the licensing and the insurance link in the upper right, and then getting more information. But it will show inactive in big, bold letters, all caps. So it's a current dynamic website. It's always updating all the time, so I use that as a resource when I'm doing vetting. So when I use the truck search feature of Truckers Path in combination with the FMCSA website to vet out carriers' MC and DOT numbers to make sure that they're not associated with a brokerage or shipper, or even an IEP company, which is an intermodal equipment provider, because you don't want to get into the realm of double brokering. So you just want to find owner operators with maybe starting out with 5 trucks or less, and then the equipment types you want to start off with, or I'll say consider starting off with, that'll make your transition smoother, will be the 53-foot dry vans, the 53-foot reefers or the refrigerated trailers, and then the 48 or 53-foot flatbeds. Okay, you have a shipper's list from 2000. Well, it's not old because the shippers, I'm assuming the shippers are still there. I couldn't imagine them going out of business 4 years ago. So the shippers list is still there. Now, maybe some of the names, the contact numbers may be old, or maybe even the contact numbers may be good, but the contact person may have moved on. So that's still a good list. Now that's a shippers list. So from a broker side, we can, if you send that to me, I can try to call some of those shippers just to see if they're willing to deal with brokers or deal directly with carriers. So let me give you my email here, and then get back on Michael's point. So we're doing dispatching as the easiest entry point. We're moving along in dispatching. So we found, let's say you, Michael, or anybody here, found one of each equipment type carrier and got them under a dispatch agreement. So you got one drive-in, one reefer, one flatbed. And let's say, for the sake of argument, I'm just giving you some high-level numbers, gross before taxes. Let's say you could find a load for each carrier. You can find them 3 loads a week. Just to say 3 loads a week. Not even backhaul, just line haul going out. Of course, you're going to try to find them backhaul back to where they came to or somewhere else. But let's just use small numbers.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm finding it's hard to get people back. That's why I haven't jumped all the way in, because it's hard to get people back.
Right, unless you start to strategically route your carriers in areas for that equipment type where there is a lot of freight. So now you're getting into from beginner to more intermediate. So now you're looking at load to truck ratios. You're looking at if you got like access to like DAT trend lines or hot market trend lines, which is free. I can send a link. There's a website. I put it in the back office area. But it shows load to truck ratio for different equipment types in particular states. So if you know that and you got one drive-in, one flatbed, one reefer, why not position your carriers into those areas so now you increase your chances of finding the load coming out of that area and maybe back to the area that you sent them from, or maybe to another area. Set up kind of like a triangular plotted coordinates for each state. So you got, for each carrier, each equipment type, those 3 equipment types, you find 3 states strategically plotted on the map of the United States in a triangular coordinated way that's moving, you know what I'm saying, that's moving freight back and forth.
Yeah,
so
that's what I mean, because I'm trying to, because I have access to drivers. That's what I do for my profession. I'm an X-ray tech and I work at a clinic, and so we do DOT physical, and so I'm always talking to owner operators. Right. And so I can. And so when I tell them I'm going to start a freight brokering company or freight dispatch company, everybody's excited, but they're also complaining about, like sort of stuff, some of the stuff that Calvin was talking about with the first quarter and numbers being down and all that.
Maybe you should consider partnering with someone. You find the carriers, and then they manage to find the loads, and you guys split the percentage 5 and 5 until you get to a place where you can start doing it yourself. Since you have access to the carriers, whatever equipment types they are, start off small, like the 3. Find the carriers, and then you partner with someone that you say, okay, if you're able to, find consistent loads, or even if they can't find consistent loads, at least starting out, building up to that point of consistency. But you find the carriers under they're your carriers because you found them, you send them your dispatch agreement, but you partner with someone who can find loads for you, and then you guys come up with an agreement, even though you're your carriers, that other person find the loads for you, and then you guys split the percentage once the carrier gets paid. That could be an option.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about it.
That may be the option for you starting out. I don't know if there's another way to look at it from your perspective, and it's good because you have, like you said, you do the DOT physicals for the drivers, so they coming in there anyway. So I'm sure you starting up conversations with everybody, and then you let them know, hey, I'm an independent dispatcher. if you're an owner operator and you find your own loads, you're not a company driver, and depending on the company dispatchers, if you need assistance in finding your own loads, I can provide that service for you. I can provide the service of getting the carrier packets completed quicker, making sure the rate confirmations are in order, processing all that stuff, so you can just focus on driving. You don't have to focus on pulling to a truck stop, hoping that the internet service works so you can print out carrier packets and get it back to the broker. Why not have somebody doing that for you for a percentage of the load? And it all depends on how you pitch and how you present it to them. Because you're presenting your service, and the service you're providing for them is the ability to book loads faster, basically time, because it's all about time in this industry. The quicker they can book loads, the quicker they can get next to their next load.
Right.
So that's something to consider on your side, Michael. Are you part of Dispatcher 101, or are you in RBBS?
No, I'm in RBBS. I just started seeing Dispatcher 101 information through, because that was part of the training. You had some videos and stuff out, but I didn't know that you had launched off the Exodus logistics thing.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I was a student in the RBBS National Dispatchers Network, and when I was in there, at the time, I was learning. I learned as much as I could, and then I took what I learned and branched out. But during that time that I was a student, there were a lot of basic level questions being asked, and I was the one answering them all the time. I was pasting a lot of loads from my load boards in there to people, and they were, booking loads, and everybody was contacting me. So Calvin was like, "Hey, I'm seeing that people, you have a lot of activity in here. So have you thought about creating a basic level platform, creating your own platform?" And I was like, okay, ding, 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 ding. So I did that, but I'm still in the network. I'm not a student. I'm affiliated. I still tune into the Saturday trainings. I provide input. I've even moderated a few of those trainings for him, like when he was sick and he couldn't do it. He broke his laptop or something, and so he called me and said, "Hey, I need you to step in on one of these trainings." So that's what I did. So I try to keep it basic, because I realize people come in to this area of the industry knowing very little, if not anything. So that's who I target. Now, I know intermediate and more advanced stuff, and we can get to that bridge. We can cross that bridge when we get to it, but I recognize who my audience is, and I try to instruct accordingly. So that's where I'm at with the Dispatcher 101.
But you had asked a question about being a part of Dispatcher 101. How do you become part of the? Is it that you have a fee too, right?
Yeah. You have to enroll. I've changed my pricing points because I want to make it as affordable as possible. Robert, this recording is going to be in the back office. Yes. Robert is a member, so he has access to the training, so I'll report it in the back office. I may even put it in the Dispatcher 101 Facebook group. I may put a link there too.
Oh, when you say back office, are you talking about the RBBS back office?
No, I have my own Dispatcher 101 back office. I have my own website. I have areas where you can go to. It's actually I try to make mine as basic and user-friendly and easily accessible as far as finding things and understanding what they are, clearly seeing what they are, clearly dated. Everything is descriptive. So when you go to it, you say, okay, here it is, or there it is, or there it is. Because when I designed the website, I designed it in such a way to say, okay, I have people actually come in and actually look at the website as if they were new, and then tell me, okay, what can be done to make it better, or what do I need to do? What do I need to change? Well, this needs to go here because I can't find, So, but to answer your question, to enroll, you have to enroll. Yes, I have an If you are a member of RBBS, I do have an RBBS member discount as a show of appreciation for me being in that platform and them giving me my start. That is $99. Yeah. The RBBS member discount is $99. So in other words, if you are in RBBS and then you say, hey, I want to get in Dispatcher 101, then it's for you it's $99 because you're RBBS. If you are not in RBBS and you are a single member, you just want to join just by yourself, it's $199. And then I have a 2-for-1 Dispatcher special for $299. So it's still affordable all the way around the board. And then in July, I am going to start I'm going to add a subscription, monthly subscription to the platform for those joining from July 1st and beyond. If you join prior to that, then you will be grandfathered in and you will not have to pay the subscription. In other words, if you join now or before July 1st, you just pay the $99 and you're in for life. You know, or for however you want to be in, however long you want to be in. If you join after July 1st, it's still the price to join, the enrollment fee, $99 in your case because you're RBBS. And then the very next, say you join July 1st or July 2nd, you pay the $99, and then the next month I'm going to bill you for $19.99 for that month and beyond each month to maintain enrollment and access to the tools and resources. Because again, I'm adding more sophisticated things, and I feel if so, you know, the members they need to have some kind of skin in the game. So if I'm adding load boards, it's like $129 or $99 a month, and in order for you to access those, you're only paying $19.99 a month, and you're getting more than one load board. You just do the math. It's a no-brainer, right? You're getting a load board. This load board costs $129 this a month. This load board costs $34.99 a month. This load board costs $35 a month. This load board costs $49 a month. You're getting all those load board access for only $19.99 a month. Is it not worth it?
Right.
Especially if you are of the type that you're going to use that stuff. You know.
So it sounds like I need to sign up.
That's your choice. I don't want to like force you to.
Well, that keeps me from paying only one subscription. I just pay my RBBS subscription, and then I get grandfathered into basically 2 platforms. That's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer. There you go. So yeah, you're already in RBBS, and if you join before, because if you were to join after July 1st, then it's like you're paying 2 subscriptions. You're paying for mine, and you're paying for. Now what I might do with even with that, just to be fair to those who say someone joins after July 1st and they are an RBBS member, I might say you can still join for the $99 and you don't have to pay the subscription for mine because you're already in RBBS, because it wouldn't make sense to double charge a person for subscribing, right?
Well, I'm sure you're giving us access that you're not duplicating the same access that they have at RBBS.
Right, but I still want you guys to feel like you're not being like double. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If it were me, I'd be like, okay, I'm in RBBS, I'm paying whatever I'm paying a month for there, and then I want to join yours. I'm gonna join it in August for $99 discount, but I pay $19.99 too. So
and you can give them a discount for $12.99.
Well, yeah. Or I may not even do the discount at all. You know, but I'm going to cross that bridge when I get to. I'm going to think about that because I want to be as fair as an impartial.
Yeah, you're a nice guy, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into all the access and stuff, and I mean,
right.
Well, yeah, you know,
it'll come back.
You're helping us make money, Charles. You're helping us make money.
Right. Yeah, and that's the whole goal. So if you make money, then that's my payment, that's my reward. So it came back to me 2, 3, 4, 5 folds. So I've already gotten rewarded for what I've been doing. I've already seen it. So I know it works. So number one, because it's working for me, but number two, the reason why it's working for me is because I'm applying what I know. So now I'm trying to take what I know, basically take my brain, put it in a website or on paper and in live trainings and show you guys exactly. And that's how I'm going to get to with my trainings. I want to train you guys in a way that you can succeed. In other words, what better way to train you than to do what it is that I'm doing? So in my live trainings, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, what's going to change to just Monday and Wednesdays in July. But anyway, those live trainings, I actually call carriers, get them under agreement, call brokers, book the load. You'll actually see me filling out the rate confirmations or the carrier packets during the rate confirmation. So you'll see me doing what it is that you're eventually going to be doing yourself. So what better way to train than to do actually what it is that you're going to be doing eventually? As opposed, I don't want to be the person talking you to death. I want to show you what you need to do. So
I mean that's huge, man. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a teacher does. You know, that's what a teacher does. So that's what I want to do. I want to actually show you. That's the best way to get taught something, to actually show what it is that you need to know. You know, like 2 times 2 is 4. Just saying it to someone who don't know 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, how is 2 times 2 4? How is that? How is that true? How is 2 times 2 4? Show me how 2 times 2 is 4. Because 2 times 2 could be 1,000,000. Just you saying it, but show me how 2 times 2 is 4. You see, so that's where I'm at with that. So.
Well, yeah, I think that's good, because that's the hardest part, is trying to figure out how to start and what to say and all that. You know, the learning curve is, you know, the most difficult part.
Yeah. So now back to your point, because I got a little sidetracked a little bit. But you got dispatchers, and then next you got a trucking company. So say you're dispatching and you're successful with dispatching. You got 3. Oh, let me go back a little further, because I was giving you the scenario of 3 as a dispatcher. If you had 3 trucks or 3 carriers under agreement, and you got one's a drive-in, one's a flatbed, and one's a reefer, which is what we focus on getting, because those are the easier ones to move loads for and make the most money. So you got 3. You find 3 loads a week for those. Each load's paying about, let's say, $2,000, and that's a pretty decent load. You figure a load picks up on Monday, delivers on Wednesday, you know, a day and a half, 2 days, $2,000. That's pretty fair that's pretty average for a rate for a load across all 3 equipment.
I must be looking at different load boards, because I'm getting like 800, 785, stuff like that.
Okay, so let's decrease that number then. Let's say, well, it does depend on the equipment type. So you might not get it for a drive-in as opposed to a flatbed or a reefer. But
yeah, flatbed, of course, yeah, they're going to be a little bit more expensive. But I was just talking about flatbed.
Right.
I mean, I was just talking about drive-in.
Okay, so let's say on average that it averaged out across the 3 equipment types to be about $2,000 a week on average. So on average, $2,000 per load. You're finding them 3 loads a week. One picks up on Monday, delivers Wednesday. Pick up a load on Wednesday, deliver Friday. Pick up a load on Friday, deliver the following Monday. So that's 3 loads a week. $2,000 3 times 2,000 is $6,000 a week for that driver, which is kind of small. Times 10%, so that's $600 a week for you, right? Because you get 10% of that, right?
Right.
But you got 3 carriers that you're doing that with, so 600 times 3. So for 3 carriers, you're making $1,800 a week, right?
Right.
But you have to get to a point where you're maintaining that. If you could do that with one carrier, you find them $6,000. If you make $6,000 a week for one carrier, it could be 3 loads a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at $2,000. It could be 2 loads a week, Monday and Thursday at $3,000. However it is, if it averages out to about $6,000 or $7,000, whatever you gross a week for that carrier, you're getting 10% of that. So if you let's say you gross $7,000 a week for that carrier for loads. So that's $700 a week for you, and you doing that on a consistent basis with one carrier, and you just keep doing that. You found a formula or a niche in how to do that. You may have found a regular customer for that carrier that pays pretty good, and you're keeping that carrier running under that customer, and then bringing backhaul back to that carrier and running them again, so back and forth. So you found that one customer over here that's going from A to B, and then at B, you turn that B delivery into a regular customer going back. So now you ain't got to worry about a broker. You got directly with the shipper. You got customers at point A, a regular customer. You went first from a brokered load with that customer, but then you, as a smart dispatcher, business person would do, after you book a load through a broker and you send your carrier based off of that rate confirmation to that shipper to pick up, I'll be asking questions with that shipper. Hey, how often do you guys move loads out of here? They'll say, we move them out of here every day. Okay, I can bring my carrier back here, you know, once he gets done with this load, bring him back here again. They'll say, sure, go ahead, that's fine. And can I deal with you guys directly? So now what are you doing? You're bypassing the broker. You're cutting the broker out, which means you're saving more money for your carrier, which puts more money in your pocket.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you can broker the load starting out, but then start a conversation with the shipper once that carrier gets to that shipper, you know, because the shipper, the broker's going to call you with doing a check call. They're going to make sure that the carrier is at the shipper at the time that they're supposed to be. They always do check calls. They do them too much, if you ask me, because they'll call you, okay, what's his ETA? Okay, he's at mile marker 10, and then 15 minutes later, okay, what's his ETA? Like, well, damn, you just called me 15 minutes ago. If he's at mile marker 10, then he's 15 minutes up the road. How about that?
Right.
So
mile marker 12. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they do that with me all the time. I'm like, look, man, just call me. Call me when you think I'll call you. That's what I sometimes I'll tell them, look, I'll call you when he's at the shipper picking up. I'll call you when he's halfway at his destination, and then I'll call you when he's there. How about that? That way you ain't got to call me every hour on the hour. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
because
right.
I'm the dispatcher. My name is listed on the rate confirmation as the dispatcher for the carrier, so I'm the one that they're calling. And you're gonna discover that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get that, Ronnie. Just so you know. But yeah, so in any case, you set up regular runs for your carriers based off of your, talking to the shipper. First, it's a brokered load, initially, but then have conversations with these shippers that this carrier is picking up from, based off, because you're going to get the rate confirmation, because you're going to have your carrier sign it, or you sign it on your carrier's behalf. So you see the shipper or the consignor, and then you see the receiver or the consignee where they're delivering to. So the consignor is the shipper, pickup. The consignee is the receiver, delivery. So you see the contact information, phone numbers, emails, and everything. So as a dispatcher, start that conversation. Like, hey, how can you guys load or ship out of here? Or how can you guys ship out of here? That's a good conversation to have, because now you're trying to strategically put your carrier in a position where they can just deal directly with the shipper. And that's what you want to do. You want to set up, eventually, you want to get off the load boards. You want to stop chasing loads, and you want to set up consistent customers for your carrier. That way, a carrier would rather have consistent customers than chasing loads on the load board. Why? Because they always know where they're going. They always know what they're getting paid. That's that same lane, so they don't have to worry about anything. Once they know that, they're good. As opposed to chasing loads on the load board, sometimes the loads are covered, sometimes you get a load, sometimes it doesn't pay enough. Sometimes you got to negotiate. All these unknowns are involved in that. But that's the mark of the beast when it comes to dealing with load boards. You're going to have to go through that point, to get to a consistent customer, a consistent shipper. So there you go. So now with the dispatching side, next you're going to move to, if you are a dispatcher and you have 3 carriers, drive-in, flatbed, and reefer, you're running them pretty consistent. They're making you money pretty consistently. It's almost automated, right? So next thing you want to do, you might want to consider yourself getting your own MC authority and then leasing your authority to owner-operators who don't have their authority, leasing under your authority as a trucking company. You're still doing your dispatching, but it's automated over here to the left. Right now in front of you, you got your own MC authority, and you're leasing your authority for like 25-30% of the gross amount each week that a carrier who leases under your authority makes. So now you're bringing in, now that's another stream of income. You apply with the FMCSA for an MC authority, what's called a common carrier authority, because there are different types of MC authority for carriers and different types of MC authority for brokers. For the brokers, there's two main ones. There's an MC authority, a broker authority of property, and a broker authority of household goods. For the carriers, there is a common carrier authority, there is a contract carrier authority, there is a household goods carrier authority, and then there is a passenger carrier authority. The one that you are applying for, if you are making yourself a trucking company, would be the common carrier, because you can haul freight for anybody. The contract carrier is you have a specific, for obvious reasons, you're contracted with a specific company. The passenger carrier is one when you're dealing with like charter buses, limousines, and things like that. The household goods one is HHG, is like moving companies. So those are the types of authorities when you apply for through the FMCSA for an authority. The authority to move freight, that's what that means. When you apply for an authority, you're asking the FMCSA and DOT to give you authority to move freight. Now, based off of the type of authority you apply for, tells you how you're going to be able to do that. So, as a trucking company, I recommend if you're going to do that, apply as a common carrier. So now you're able, because you increase your chances, you increase your revenue stream better when you do it that way. So now you have owner-operators coming out to you. Of course, you're going to advertise, say, hey, I got my authority. I'm taking on owner-operators to lease under my authority at this percentage. Of course, you want to be a competitive percentage because you don't want to undersell yourself. You don't want to oversell yourself. I think the going rate is about 25% to 30%. So if you meet them in the middle, like 27 or 28, an owner-operator will come to you and say, okay, I don't have my authority. I'm an owner-operator. Can I lease under your authority until I get my other stuff together and everything? And you'll say, yeah, but you still need to vet them out, because having the danger with this, there's one danger with this. When you have owner-operators lease under your authority, they can damage and put your authority out of business if there are certain things that are done. Like they can have claims filed against them, get into accidents and things like that. Even their insurance lapsing can affect your authority because they're under your authority. They're under your umbrella. So you want to vet them out. You want to check everything, check them out, make sure everything is in order before you consider allowing them to lease under your authority, because you're putting your neck out there because of that. But let's say, for the sake of argument, everything works out and you get an owner-operator who's all good in all of those areas, and then they lease under your authority. You charge them, let's say 28%. So let's say they gross a week $9,000 in their moving freight and booking loads and all that stuff. And they're doing all their own stuff, and all they got to do is just give you 28% of that as a show of leasing under your authority. So of the $9,000, they're paying you $2,520 a week. They're making $9,000 a week, but they're paying you to use your authority $2,520 a week. That's extra money. Now, say you got 3 carriers that's doing that. So you take that, and that's the second stream of income. You're still dispatching your 3 carriers, making that money, that $1,800 a week, but now you got an authority. And each carrier is bringing home, grossing at least $9,000 a week themselves under your authority, and you're charging 28%, right? So that's 2520 times 3 carriers that you're leasing under authority. So now that's an extra $7,560 a week coming to you simply by allowing a carrier to lease under your authority.
So how much does it cost to get your own authority?
To apply for the MC authority is $300 through the FMCSA website. They will do a background check, credit, history, all that stuff. When you apply, it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get a response from it. And then once they come to that last week of getting a response to you, then they will put out there that they're about to make your authority active. Is there anyone who wants to challenge that? then anybody who wants to challenge your authority becoming active, they have 10 days to file with FMCSA. After 10 days, then if everything else works out, they'll make that authority active. That's the process. You can go to the FMCSA website to look that up and read about it, but that's pretty much the process in a nutshell.
So, to get your authority and you have like bad credit or something, would you like try to like, can you get your authority as an individual or can you get your authority as a company?
It's probably a good idea to get an authority as a company and probably an LLC, because you want to protect your personal assets. In case somebody sues you or one of your carriers under your authority gets into trouble and somebody's coming after you and that carrier, they're coming after you, the person, because it's your authority, and they're coming after them. Say they crashed and killed somebody. The family's suing the carrier. The family's suing the carrier, but you're in that lawsuit because it's your authority that that carrier was under when that fatality happened. You see where I'm going with that? Yeah. But if it's an LLC, they can only go after the company. Your personal assets are protected. You see? So you have to strategize and think about different things, and always think of, when you're thinking about forming businesses, always put worst case scenarios in it, so that way you already eliminated that possibility. Putting positive case scenarios is a no-brainer, right? But worst case scenarios, now you think, okay, what if this happens? So maybe I should make my legal structure of my business a LLC as opposed to a sole proprietor, because my assets, my personal assets, are more protected under LLC, single member LLC, as opposed to sole proprietor. So these are the strategies and things that you have to think about when you are considering the legal structure of your business, the business name, the EIN, all different types of stuff like that. So that's the second stream of income, leasing out your MC authority, first of all, getting an MC authority as a small trucking company, and then leasing it to people, and then even getting your MC authority and purchasing your own truck, and then putting a driver in your truck to drive for you as a company driver. That's another option as under the trucking company umbrella. And then the third option, of course, is to form what's called a brokerage. So you open up a brokerage. Now you still do the same thing. You apply for, instead of a motor carrier authority, you apply for a broker authority. And again, the two types of broker authorities that you apply for is either a broker of property or a broker of household goods. And of course, the most common one, obviously, is the broker of property, because you're brokering for general freight for anybody. So as opposed to broker of household goods, it's just like moving companies. So, and then with a brokerage, you need a trust or a surety bond. You need to apply for a broker authority. You pay for that. You know, the authority to broker. You need a surety bond or a trust fund in the amount of it used to be $10,000. Now it's $75,000. And all it is just think of an insurance policy where you pay certain premiums to maintain the value of the policy. So in this case, the value of the policy or the bond or the trust fund is $75,000. So the annual range of premiums that you pay for that ability to have a $75,000 surety bond or trust fund is anywhere between $900 and $2,250 a year. So if you $900 and $2,250, even if the worst case scenario, if you find a surety bond company like JW Bonds or whoever to get you a premium of $2,250 a year, if you divide that by 12 months, then you're paying $187.50 a month to have a $75,000 trust fund or surety bond. That's how that works. Most people say, well, the surety bond is the range of premiums between $900 and $2,250. The trust fund is you have to put up the money in escrow, $75,000 in escrow, and it's used to cover, you know, the cost of the freight. In addition to that, you need what's called a BLC3. By the way, let me go back. The surety bond, the form for that is called a BMC 84. The trust fund form is called a BMC 85, and you can look those up. The BOC3 is that's what's called a processing agent, and you need a processing agent for every state that you're going to be operating your brokerage out of. One processing agent can work more than one state. So don't think of I need to pay for one agent for every state I'm going to be brokered in. No, you can have one agent cover all the states that you're going to be brokered in, and you just pay that one fee and you're covered. The purpose of a processing agent is that's the person who is authorized by you to receive legal documentation if there's a claim or any lawsuits filed against you. That's the point of a processing agent. They're processing all that stuff and getting that stuff prepared for courts and all that stuff. That's the point. It's necessary and it's a requirement. In addition to that, you need insurance. You don't need it. It's recommended to get it because as a broker, if you have insurance like contingency cargo for $250,000 or even liability or cargo or whatever, and you go to a shipper trying to say, hey shipper, what do I need to do to move some of your loads? They're going to say, send me a packet, and you send them a packet. It shows your W-9, your MC authority or your broker authority, your trust or surety bond, and some form of insurance. The shipper is going to say, look at the insurance and say, okay, this broker has skin in the game. He bought his own insurance to help cover my freight, because I'm the shipper now, as opposed to using just his approved carrier's insurance. He's using also his own insurance to help cover my freight. So a shipper is more likely to go with you as opposed to a broker who doesn't have insurance, because it's not a requirement, but it's a recommendation. It's recommended because it shows you have skin in the game, and you increase your chances of getting a shipper if you show them that you have skin in the game with having additional insurance on top of the insurance of the carriers that you have approved under your brokerage. Do you follow?
So you don't have to have a surety bond?
No, I didn't say you didn't have to have a surety bond. I said, as a broker, you don't have to have the insurance is not a requirement, but it is recommended because it shows more skin in the game to your customer, who is the shipper. Because now you're
I see. So okay, I got you.
Because the reason why most brokers don't get insurance is because they're going off the insurance of the carriers that they're setting up under their brokerage. Because when you get an approved carrier under your brokerage, you have a broker-carrier agreement, and you're using the insurance of your carrier. That's why they require the carriers to have a minimum of $100,000 cargo and $1 million liability to be approved as a carrier under their brokerage. So what does that say? The liability $1 million. What if the freight that the carrier is hauling on the truck is $2 million or $5 million worth of freight, and they get into an accident? Well, the insurance is only going to cover $1 million.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, and then some shippers will even tell a broker, like, look, our freight, we got high-end freight. Our customers are like Walmart, Target, IKEA, so we putting $10 million worth of freight on these trucks. So you got carriers that only got $1 million cargo. What else you gonna bring? What do you got to offer? So that's what you got to consider. So when you go out to shippers, you gotta educate yourself about the shippers too. You got to research the companies and say, okay, their loads are like pretty big, so I may have to get some insurance to add on top of what my approved carriers have.
Right, I got you.
You see what I'm saying? So it's all about that as well. So that's the broker side. So now you're starting off as a dispatcher. There's no like startup cost of being a dispatcher. Only the cost of you getting your business license, getting the EIN number. EIN numbers are free. You just go to irs.gov. But getting the business license, and then the cost of maybe getting a computer, a laptop, maybe some internet service, maybe some subscriptions to some things like DocuSign, a few load boards here and there. That's about it as far as low-end monthly expenses. The trucking company is next. Little expenses here if you want to operate, in an office building, brick and mortar, get a little warehouse. But then the broker has other expenses too. So. But I hope that answered some of the questions and put it in a little bit more perspective for you.
No, it answers a lot of questions. A lot of questions. No, that's good information, man. Good information. So talk to me about your business. Have you started getting an MC license or an authority yet?
I have not done the MC authority yet as far as trucking. I'm still doing the dispatching, and then I'm working on the broker side. Oh, I forgot to mention too, if you are interested in the broker side too, as a new broker, and if you're having difficulty getting shippers, then it's also recommended to work under a already established brokerage as a broker agent. So the purpose of a broker agent is you're using the broker's authority, and the broker still has the financial and the legal responsibility to run their brokerage. The agent works under that, and all they do is just get the shippers under that brokerage and then manage those loads for that shipper, and they get a percentage, a commission split. So if you come in as a broker agent and you already have shippers or customers or what's called a book of business, then, if you don't have none of that, you get, it's like 50-50 commission split. 50% goes to the broker, 50% goes to the agent. If you come in with a few shippers and you bring those customers over, of course, your commission goes up. It's like 60-40, 70-30. And, of course, the higher number always goes to the agent because they're doing the work. The broker is just sitting back, letting you use their authority and all their tools and resources under that brokerage. Their TMS system, so you can manage those customers, build the loads and things like that. Their load boards, so you can access and post the loads and get the carriers approved, and all their paperwork that's involved in that. That's why their percentage is lower, because they're only doing that. As an agent, you're getting the higher percentage, especially if you're bringing in your own customers when you first come over to a brokerage. So that's how that works. So if you want to start a brokerage, but you don't have no experience, things like that, then I would recommend start off as an agent, work under a brokerage, learn the mechanics and the process of how everything is done for a year, maybe two, build up a book of business of customers, shippers, and then take those shippers with you when you form your own brokerage. Now you got customers and you've got established credit, because that credit follows you too. So.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I actually got a carrier. Let me call this guy back so you guys can hear this conversation. Because he's a reefer, and I think he's looking for something.
Okay.
I got 1,000 people calling me too. Who is this? Who is that? Who is that? And who was that? Okay, so let me call Enrique. It's Memorial Day, so I figured they didn't want. You see, sometimes they'll call you for loads the day of. I hate that. It's going to be hard finding the loads the day of. I'll tell you about that in a second.
Hello?
Hey, Enrique, ¿qué pasó? ¿Cómo está, amigo?
Hey, Charlie, where you been, amigo?
I've been busy. The main thing I've been busy is my mom. I've been transitioning her to a nursing home, so I haven't had as much time to work on loads for people. So, mom is important.
Yes, I know. And how is mom doing? She's been good?
She had an appointment today for the pulmonary hospital, but it got canceled. So we got to reschedule that. She's having CHF, which is congestive heart failure. She has COPD, which is deals with the lungs, compulsive obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and then she has AFib, which is dealing with the heart fibrillation. So that's her main thing. So we got to get her heart and her lungs in order. So and then I just transitioned her to a nursing home 2 weeks ago. So I'm getting, when you first go into a nursing home, you got to stay on top of them because, some aides may be better than others. They may not be as attentive. So I got to stay on top of that in order to make sure I get them to do what I need them to do, because, you only get one mom. So.
Yeah, you're right. You are doing the
So forgive me, but I've been very busy. But where's Gabriel? Where is he at?
He is in Michigan.
What city? Do you remember?
I can't remember. I just in my phone. I want to say my river is broke, so I need a dry load.
Okay, so the TCU, the unit, is broke on the reefer.
Yes, and I need to bring it down that way I can fix him. So, but anyway, I want to do dry lows if you find something like it,
Okay, so it's Memorial Day weekend, but I can see what I can. So he's in Michigan and he's trying to get back where?
And we try to put his Texas, like every he can Utah, something like that, Vegas, something like that, or Tucson, Phoenix.
Okay, so yeah, text me the details of where he's at and where you want him to go, and I can see what I can do for you. Okay.
All right, yeah, let me text you and see what you can do.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good day, sir.
All right. Okay, guys, that wasn't too hard on him, was I?
Wow, that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
No. I had to let him, because he said, "Where you been, man?" Because I haven't dispatched like literally for 2 months. Literally.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because of all the other stuff that you're doing.
Yeah. Well, the main thing is I'm getting my mom acclimated into a nursing home, so it's more mental than it is physical. I mean, I'm doing a lot of physical stuff, moving her stuff in, all her property, getting clothes hung up, getting things washed and sent back over to the house, putting things in the cleaners, making sure mom is straight, fed right, she's changed, because she's older, she's 78 years old. So all of that it's more mental. The physical part is easy. I can do that. That's not a problem, because you only get, like I said, you only get one mom, so you have to do that, right? So, but it's more of a mental thing. And then mom is showing early stages of dementia. She forgets a lot of things. I tell her to, I give her a notepad and say, okay, anything that's important, mom, write it down. So when I come over, I go ahead and address it there. And then anything that you need, make me a list. Because she has a habit of calling me for little one-offs, right? She'll say, well, I need some bananas. And then the next day she'll say, I need some strawberries. Or the next day she'll say, I need this. I'll say, oh, Mom, make a list. Because I don't want to just drive every day for just one thing. Make a list. I'll bring everything in bulk to you that one day, and everything will be good. So it's mental, because you want to make sure that you still respect your mom, but you still want to put your foot down in such a way that that she understands that this is how it should be done, that it's more effective and efficient this way, as opposed to you telling me to bring this here, this day, this here, that day, so on and so forth. So, but
how far away?
Oh, she is about 5 miles from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there's a nursing home that's even like a mile up the street. I'm going to eventually transfer her there, because she has Medicare and Medicaid, and so she's eligible for that. I got her on the waiting list. I got her to this nursing home, which is fine, but I got her on the waiting list for the other nursing home, which is better. So after a year of her being here, I'm going to make a decision. Once they call me at the other nursing home and say, hey, a bed's come open, do you still want her to move in? I'll talk to mom and say, okay, are you okay here, or do you want to move closer to me? Because she was staying with me in the house before I moved into a nursing. I made a decision to move into a nursing home because I just couldn't. My wife and I couldn't handle her. There's certain things that professionals do that family can't do. And that's why we made the decision to do that. So it was a tough decision. It was an emotional decision, I'll be honest with you. Because, so you don't want to put your mom, in a situation where she's helpless. And she's not really helpless. She'll call me out. I'm pretty much gone. Like, I'll cancel class. I'll do this. You guys already seen that. So I'm gone. And my sister's here too, but she's a little bit more busier. I mean, I work from home. She's a teacher. So she doesn't have that freedom to just drop and say, hey, Steve, so. But it's fine. Everything's good. I'm her POA. I'm her attorney of fact. My sister is the successor. We have a durable POA, power of attorney, so I'm pretty much handling all her affairs. So everything is in order. I just need to maintain that. And it's an emotional challenge. It's not a struggle. It's a challenge. So, but it's fine. It's fine. So, but Enrique, he's a reefer. His reefer unit is down. So he turned off his reefer unit, so he wants a dry van load. The driver, Gabriel's in Michigan, and he wants to bring it back towards the Arizona area. So once he texted me that,
so that confused me, because you said Enrique, but then you said Gabriel. So
Enrique is the boss of the company. That's who I was talking to on the phone. Gabriel is the driver.
Okay. And he's trying to get from Michigan to Arizona.
Right. He's been in Michigan. I guess been running back and forth from Michigan. Because the last conversation I had with him, he was in Michigan, and he must have been just moving around back and forth in Michigan and whatnot. So he wants a load going from Michigan back down to the Arizona area, Phoenix, Tucson, over there. So I told him, I said, look, you know it's Memorial Day weekend, so I think it's Memorial Day weekend, right? It's the last week. Or is that next weekend? Is this Memorial Day weekend? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend. So what happens on Memorial Day weekend?
Well, you know, because even brokers, they take breaks too, you know, holidays and all that stuff. So it'll be, I don't want to say it's a challenge, but you know, because just think of it like Christmas or Thanksgiving, you know.
Right. Well, it's 1 o'clock.
It'll be hard. Yeah, hard finding loads and all that stuff.
Yeah. Because people are shutting down for the weekend.
People are shutting down for the weekend. They want to be with their families just as much as we do, and I get that. So that's another thing too about pre-planning. So I hate finding loads on the day of. As a matter of fact, that's the worst thing that you can do as a dispatcher, trying to find a load for a carrier on the day of. I'd rather pre-book or pre-plan loads for days out, even weeks out. That way I already know what they got and where they're going. So now it gives me a few more days ahead of time to pre-plan loads even further. Backhauls. So that's what you want. That's where you want to get to as a dispatcher. You want to be able to pre-plan loads as opposed to booking loads the day of, because you're going to have a harder time. Every time you call a broker, you're going to hear this all the time. Oh, that load's covered. Oh, that load's covered. Because you're trying to find a load. Today is Friday the 24th, and you're trying to find a load for Friday the 24th. So you can understand why it's going to be hard to do that on the day, especially the harder days. Let's see, Mondays and Fridays are the busiest days to find loads, because Mondays it's starting of the week, and Fridays they're trying to get a load to cover themselves over the weekend. Now in the middle of the week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, you can find loads all day. But Mondays and Fridays, you know, you're starting your week, and then at the end of the week, you're looking for something on the weekend. That's the perspective of the carrier. So I didn't know if you know that, but that's the perspective of the carrier. You know, I'm starting my week on the Monday, so I need to find something to keep me rolling. And then on the Friday, I need to, either I'm going to take the weekend off, or I'm going to find something that carries me over the weekend to Monday so I can start over again. So if you put your mindset in that of the carrier, your dispatching will be a little bit more easier for you.
So he's in Michigan 15?
He's going to text me the exact city he's in Michigan. I asked him, I said, what city is he in? I said, can you text that to me? And he said, okay, he's... Go ahead.
But he isn't just sitting there though. You're saying he's got loads going back and forth from Michigan. He's trying to change it up to get to Arizona.
I don't know if he's empty right now. He could be empty right now. He could be under load and getting ready to get empty. But apparently he's looking for something today. So until he texts me, I haven't gotten a text from him yet. Until he texts me his location and whether or not Gabriel's empty, I can't do anything. Because I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, what I can do, I can look on the load board for stuff coming out of Michigan for a drive-in heading toward that area. And then we can drill down a little bit more specifically once he gives me the city. But I can
so
still.
What would you do? What would you do? Would you just start sending him south and west? Because he's not going to get to Arizona by Monday.
No. He may not want to get to Arizona by Monday. He just wants something heading toward that way. Because that's not what he said, but he wants to head toward Arizona. He didn't give a specific day because he knows coming from Michigan to Arizona, it's not going to take 3 days. So he may come Monday, Tuesday. He might be Tuesday, you know, because unless he's a team driver, which I know he's not. It's just Gabriel in the truck by himself. If it was a team driver, 2 people can drive 11 hours each, so that's 22 hours. Then of course he can get from Michigan to Arizona, and by Monday that's not a problem. But just him by himself, and I may take him down to areas where it's pain, and like may take him down to like Atlanta, take him over to Texas, and then shoot him over to to Arizona. But a straight shot from Michigan to Arizona, over the road long haul, it's not going to pay as much. I can, especially for a drive-in. You know,
Oh, okay. That's what I'm running into in Indianapolis.
And that's strange because the Midwest should be depending on equipment.
Well, they've got a lot of trucks, they've got a lot of loads, so they're like from Indianapolis to Columbus, from Indianapolis to Detroit, from Indianapolis to Chicago, you know, from Indianapolis to Nashville, from Indianapolis to Memphis. You've got that all day long. You can't get back.
Right. So you gotta, See, I used to stay in Naptown, Castleton, Noblesville. I was all in that area.
Yeah. You had mentioned that. What years were you here?
What year was that? 2010, I think it was.
Oh, okay. Why was you in Indy? You was working in Indy?
No, I was over there. Had a lady friend over there. And was staying with her a little bit, and then I just decided, and then I would go back and forth to Columbus, because I got family in Ohio and Michigan, so I would just hit I-70 and just shoot right over. I always passed by the big Tom Raper RV spot over in Richmond, Indiana, past that spot all the time. So.
Right.
Yeah. But, and I got family in the Columbus area, Dayton, Springfield, and I got family in Detroit, so Cleveland.
So you was in transition.
Yeah. Then I just came back over to Virginia. My sister was over here, so I came over here. She said, "Come over to the East Coast," and so.
So you left that. Now you're married.
Yeah. Now I'm locked up.
Right.
Yeah, now happy married. Oh yeah, oops, this is recorded.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm happy married. Yeah, she's not here, so I can talk all the crap I can now, right?
Right.
But yeah, married.
I didn't know you were East Coast. I didn't know you were East Coast.
Yeah, I'm in Virginia Beach. I'm looking at the
Get the heck out of here! My kids are in Virginia Beach.
Uh-oh.
My ex is in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, Virginia Beach, Virginia, like Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, that area right there, Suffolk. Yep, I'm over here.
Wow. Yeah, it's a small world.
I can pull my blinds back and open up the window and look at the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, it's a nice area. I've been out there to visit my kids and stuff.
Yeah, they had the big concert out here. Something in the Water. Pharrell and Snoop and Jay-Z and all the guys is out here. Busta Rhymes. So it was nice. They got they got a contract for the next few years to do it again. Because Pharrell is from Virginia. He went to school in Virginia Beach. The Neptunes, the Clips, Timberland, Missy Elliott. She's from Portsmouth. Timberland's from the beach.
I didn't know that. I assumed those people was from New York.
Yeah, Chris Brown, he's from Tappahannock. Trey Songz is from Petersburg.
Wow.
So a lot of VA. Allen Iverson, Bubba Chuck, we call him Bubba Chuck. He's from the Hampton, Newport News area. Played by Michael Vick, Marcus Vick. They're from Newport News.
Yeah. I knew they were from there. Yeah.
Lonzo Mourning, Chesapeake, Virginia. There's a lot of people, celebrities and sports figures and rappers and stuff from this area. So, and you run into them every now and then. Like I saw Chris Brown about a few years ago at a hotel down in. They built this new hotel down in Virginia Beach. I think he was coming to do a concert, and I saw him and his entourage come out the hotel. You run into a few people every now and then. So, but are we good, guys? I've been on here longer than expected. Got the balance.
I'm asking all these questions. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I look forward to you because you're considering joining. Everybody else is on here. There's only 4 of us, and we've been kind of intimate. I kind of like these little small ones because you kind of get more into a little detail. But I guess you're considering joining under the RBBS discount of $99. So
Yeah, I'll probably join next Friday. You know how paydays go, so I got to join them.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Take your time, brother. You're a member of RBBS, so you can join. I mean, I would recommend up to July 1st. You know, before.
No, I'll join next Friday. I'll join next Friday.
Yeah, it's cool. And even before you join I'll go ahead and put my phone number, but everybody on here, the four of us, everybody know my phone number, so everybody can call me. So if you got questions before the end,
plus you get to help us because Calvin is very, very busy, so we have a little bit better access to you.
Well, I'm becoming just as busy as Calvin, but I'm still going to try to make myself available because prior to becoming busy, the people who got you to that point where you are busy, I still like to show appreciation to. So I'm doing other things on the side too. I'm getting ready to start a couple of other companies. I got a guy who's looking at some straight trucks we're trying to look at because they just built a large IKEA distribution center in Norfolk, Virginia. And they use straight trucks to distribute to the commercial and residential people in this area, in the 7 cities. So I said, well, I need to get into that space by getting box trucks and doing that. And then I got a partner who has a home health care business. So I'm trying to get into that. He wants to start a non-medical transport company over in this area too, where we get funding for Medicare and Medicaid, government funding for providing non-medical transport to senior citizens to different places, like to Walmart, doctor's appointments, anything non-medical related. So, and then there's other things that I'm involved with, trying to get involved with the real estate thing. I'm trying to do my own T-shirt company. So, I mean, I'm trying to do everything as well because you don't want to limit yourself to one stream of income, especially in this day and age and in this economy.
Right.
So, but you want to pace yourself. You don't want to try to start everything at one time when you become overwhelmed. You want to start one thing, get that started, develop to the point where it's almost automated, and then go to somewhere else. So.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'm gonna get off of here because I was supposed to be asleep, but you was talking too much knowledge, so I couldn't go to sleep.
Well, I appreciate. I hope that everybody on here, Robert, Michael, and Ronnie, that you guys got as much information as you need. As far as Robert's concerned, I am going to cancel the. I've already put the note on the freight broker one-on-one training tonight. I figure I'd give you guys, because it's Memorial Day weekend, you guys can be with your families. But I did mention that if you guys do need to hear from me as it relates to the freight broker one-on-one course, and Robert knows what I'm talking about, then just call me and we can set up and discuss. So, but other than that, any other comments, questions, concerns? I did put a notice out about an hour and a half prior to saying that I was going to have this little spot training, because Wednesday I initially canceled Friday's training because of my mom's appointment. But once I found out that got canceled, I immediately came on my computer and announced that I'm going to have a spot training, Q&A at least, for an hour. So I did expect a little bit more traffic, but that's fine. This is recorded, so I'll share on the links on the Facebook groups and stuff like that, so everybody still get to see it and at least hear what we talked about. So anything else?
No, everybody have a great weekend. Thanks a lot, Charles.
Yep. Have a great weekend. Just hold your beers to like three beers. That's it. That way you'll be under the legal limit. And just be safe. Just be safe. I'm gonna grill. I think I am. I think my wife, she bought some stuff, so I guess she gave me a hint. Apparently I'm grilling. So.
Right.
You know how women do. They give you hints. They don't tell you. My wife don't tell me nothing direct. She speaks around circles. I'm like, just say it, please. Just say it.
Right. Who's gonna cook all this food? Right.
You know what I'm saying? So come in with the laundry basket next to the washing machine. I'm like, what's that doing there? That was upstairs. You know why it's here. So stuff like that. So.
Gotta love them.
Yes. Oh yeah. So if there's not anything else, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend holiday with your families. And I will see you guys Monday for Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. And there's upcoming things. I'm trying to get it more streamlined, more user-friendly, and put it in decency and order and affordable. So, all right. Any questions, though, over the weekend, whatever, on my cell phone, the number I put is always my cell phone. I keep that next to me like a second child. So, other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Be safe, everybody.